Okay, welcome to Lesson 38, Solving Two-Step Equations, Part 3. This is the last in a three-part series of solving one- and two-step equations. So now our goal, remember to review, is to isolate the variable, getting the variable alone on one side of the equation. We're going to do inverse operations to both sides of the equations. So let's get started. As you'll see here, we have fractions involved in these. So this is all about how to deal with these fractions. So look at number 1. You have x divided by 6 plus 15 equals 20. Again, write the problem down. You're going to draw a line right here to separate both sides of the equation. First, you want to add or subtract. So we see that we have a plus 15. So we're going to do the opposite, which means we subtract 15 from both sides. So you always want to add or subtract first. Then I have x divided by 6, because that goes away. 20 minus 15 is equal to 5. Now this is division. In order to undo division, you have to multiply. Whatever you're dividing by, we're going to now multiply. So if I divide by 6, the opposite of dividing by 6 is to multiply by 6. So I'm going to multiply by 6 on the left, and I need to put it over 1 since it's a fraction. So when I do that, the 6 cancels out. So then I'm left with x, and that equals 5. I have to multiply by 6 on the right side as well, so I get 30. Now you can double check, and you can do 30 divided by 6, that equals 5, plus 15, and that equals 20, and it checks. So my answer is 30. Next, I have another problem, so write it down. Again, draw a line, because you have an equal sign, and you have to do the same thing on both sides. So here I have negative b divided by 2 subtracting 11. So first I'm going to add 11 to both sides. This cancels and I get negative b divided by 2, bring that down, an equal sign, bring the equal sign down. 4 plus 11 makes 15. Now I'm dividing by 2. The opposite of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. 2 over 1 on the left since it's a fraction, and 2 on the right. So then the 2's cancel. What do I have left? I have negative b over 1, right? So negative b over 1 is the same thing as negative b. So that's why I don't really need the 1 there. Anything divided by 1 is itself. So I have a negative b equals 15 times 2, which is 30. Well, I can't have a negative b. So how do I get rid of a negative b? Well, we have to think of this as being a negative 1b. Remember, whenever you have a letter and there's no number in front of it, that means that there's a 1. So in order for me to get rid of this negative 1, if I multiply this by another negative 1, so negative 1 times negative 1, then I get a positive 1. So now I have a positive 1. Well, whatever you do to the left, you must do to the right. So 30 times a negative 1 would be negative 30. So my answer is negative 30. Okay, let's try another one. All right, number 3 is here. I have 2v divided by 3 equals 20. 2v divided by 3 equals 20. So I don't have addition and subtraction at all here. But what I do have is I have division and I have multiplication. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of the 3 here. I want to get rid of this 3. The way to get rid of this 3, since I'm dividing everything by 3, you think, what is the opposite of dividing? It is multiplying. So draw your line after you've written it down. Now I'm going to multiply everything by 3. So I multiply this side over here. Let me change color. I multiply this side by 3 over 1. Sorry if you can't see that very well. So when I multiply this side by 3, then I have to multiply that side by 3. Draw my line. The 3's cancel when you cross cancel, so then I'm left with 2v equals 60. Now this is multiplication, so now I have to do the opposite of that, which means I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. So V is equal to 30. And I can check, I can do 2 times 30, my answer, which is 60, divided by 3, does that equal 20? And yes, that checks. So my answer is 30. Let's try this again. Now notice I have negative 3 divided by 4 times A equals 24. Now this one's written a little bit differently because it's writing this as a fraction and that's A. So in this one, I'm really just multiplying by negative 3/4. So if I'm multiplying by negative 3/4, then to undo that, I have to do dividing. So I'm going to divide this entire thing by negative 3/4, because anything divided by itself is 1. So if I divide this by negative 3/4, then I have to divide this by negative 3/4. So this cancels, goes away, it becomes 1, and then I have to divide here. So whenever I divide, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I put 24 over 1 times a negative 4/3. Or you can also look at it 4 over negative 3. Then I can cross reduce, and I would get an 8 here. And then 8 times a negative 4 would be negative 32. And that would be my answer. And I can check that because I can do negative 3/4, and I can multiply that times a negative 32, and to see if I get a positive 24. And I can do that by putting a 1 here. I can cross reduce. There's a 4, there's a negative 8. Negative 3 times negative 8 is 24, and it checks. All right, we have 2 more. All right, now we're going to put these equations with, not these equations, we're going to put these fractions in 2-step equations. So here I have 3/2 m plus 2 equals 20. Draw your line to separate the left and the right side. Addition and subtraction go first, so you have to do subtracting 2 first, and then that cancels. Bring down 3/2 m. 3/2 times m equals 18. So now I'm going to divide by the 3/2, because anything divided by itself makes 1. So whatever I do over here, I have to divide this by 3/2. So this cancels, and I get m equals 18 over 1 times 2/3. Cross reduce, and I get 12. And I can check that if I want to. I can do 3/2 times 12 plus 2. Does that give me 20? And I would have to do 1 right here. That's 1, that's 6. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 gives me 20, so that checks. So my answer is 12. All right, last one. You can try doing it on your own and then double checking, or you can walk through with me, either way. So write it down, draw your line. So first we're going to add 23 to both sides. Cross that out, and then I get negative 4/5 x equals, this is 40. So then I have to divide, this is multiplying, divide by a negative 4/5. Divide this by a negative 4/5. So this goes away, x equals, cross reduce, and I get negative 50 as my answer. And then I can check. Negative 4/5 times negative 50 minus 23, does that equal 17? I put a 1 here, there's 1, there's negative 10. So negative 4 times negative 10 makes positive 40 minus 23, and that checks. And you can use a calculator to check if you need to. Now, not on a test. You're not going to use the calculator on the test, so you have to be able to do this on your own. All right, thanks for watching. That's part 3. Have a great day.